In our last class, we were discussing about the dominant economic features of an industry. In our today's session, we shall see, continuing in that, some of the driving forces uh, in an industry. Now, in our previous session, we saw why we'll have to understand the economic elements when it comes to analysis. But then there is also this argument that economic characteristics, they speak very little about the different ways in which the environment may be changing, because the different development that happens in the different sector of an industry, all this new development, they take place in the industry because significant type of forces, they normally drive the industry members. It may be competitors, it may be customers, it can also be providers, so that all these members of the industry, they can amend their actions. Now, the popular hypothesis that business go through a life cycle, we know, and it has stages like takeoff. The rapid growth comes next. Then there is early development. Once after that, there is slowing growth. Then the market becomes saturated, and then it becomes eventually stagnated, or there are also chances that it declines. All these stages, when we study this, it helps us to explain the different changes that happens in the industry. But then, not only these factors, there are more causes for industry change than an industry's normal progression that happens through the life cycle, which we have to identify, and thereby we can understand their impact on our business. All these forces that exist in the industry, they are the important causes of changing competitive conditions in the industry. And these changes, or these important changes that we are speaking of, now they are called as driving forces. So now, depending upon the industry uh, and the nature of the industry, definitely there will be many various drivers of industry and competitive change. So the driving forces, they create pressure on competitors, the suppliers and customers, so that all these members, they'll have to adopt their actions to the changes that are happening. Now they tend to change competitive conditions in the industry. So the early detection of all these driving forces, or what we can tell as dynamic forces, it is possible through methodically finding and frequently scanning the industry environment, as well as other factors, which we call normally as environmental scanning. So this qualitative procedure of understanding, analyzing into external factors, it involves itself in checking and also studying the current events, and constructing circumstances, and also identifying the driving forces. So that is what we tell as can observe and develop. So some of the most common driving forces we can see is, there might be changes in the long-term industrial growth rate, or the increasing globalization that is happening, especially on the concerned industry in which the business is, then the emerging capabilities of the internet and how the advantages of this is being done by the industry, and also there will be changes in the customers, or to tell us changes in who is buying our product and how they're changing the way it is being used. Then there shall be product innovation, there can be technological change and manufacturing process innovation, there can be marketing innovation, or then there is this element of entry and exit. Sometimes it can be easy to enter but difficult to leave, or the vice versa of it, or it can both can be easy, both can be difficult some for some of the industry. Then there is the diffusion of technical know-how across more companies and also maybe in countries. Then there can be changes in cost and efficiency. There can be growing buyer preferences for differentiated products instead of standardized commodity product. There can be reductions in uncertainty and business risk. There can be regulatory influences and government policy changes. There can be changing societal concerns, attitudes, and lifestyles. Now, what is important is, in any kind of industry, or when we normally speak of this, we can take into considerations these three steps that you can see over the slide for the analysis of the driving sources that we are discussing. First is to scan, then to observe, then to develop. So scan the situation and identify the driving forces. That is very much necessary. Just like that, randomly if you point out on the common sense basis, we can tell, okay, these might be the driving forces. But in particular, when we have to do this environment scanning, you see in which industry you are into, you see all the things that are happening, then you come up with identifying the different driving forces. That is to tell, the one who is doing this then have to recognize all the powerful driving forces, which have intense impact, and also which also has less strong driving forces, which are very much important to the industry but have the modest impact. The next step is to observe. Here, they'll have to observe the driving forces carefully and thereby determine whether, uh, and also with this doubt of whether, they'll also have to see how they are prompting the industry landscape. So that is, how these driving forces, they're making the industry striking or unappealing, or less attractive. So this step is about the valuation of the influences of the driving forces especially. And finally, they'll have to develop strategy taking into account the influences of the driving forces. So at this step, whoever is doing this environmental scanning, they shall govern the possible strategy alternations that would be necessary to deal with the impacts of all these driving forces. Having said so much about these driving forces in an industry, it always comes down to this point that the larger number of different and potential driving forces that are there in the industry, it shall let you know why it is too naive to view industrial change. Maybe only in terms of moving through the different stages in an industry life cycle, and why it is important that a full understanding of all the types of change drives is a important part of industry investigation. Uh, so it takes a lot of understanding of the environmental factors and coming up with the driving forces and to know how it changes your industry. However, many forces of change, they may be at work in a given industry. So no more than three or four are likely to be true driving forces influential enough to qualify as the major cause of why and how the industry is changing because of it. So, a company or those who are doing this kind of tactics or scanning for the company, they should always resist the enticement to label every change that they see as a driving force. So the logical task is to assess only those forces of industry and competitive alternation very carefully enough to separate main factors from minor ones. So this would help managers frame sound strategy driving forces. Analysis is in realism considered as having practical value and is basic to the task of thinking strategically about where the industry is headed and how to prepare for these changes ahead of the coming days of the company. So this is about the driving forces in an industry. Next is industry's key success factor, or what we can call as KSFs. So the last S had to be small. It is KSFs. So what you can see over the slide, it is the list of most of the collective types of accomplishment factors. So the first one is we shall try to see the meaning of what it is. You know, an industry when we take, or one industry when we take, and when we tell these key success factors, now it represents all those things that most affect industry members. Now, how does it affect is the next question. So, it affects the industry members' ability to flourish in the marketplace. It can be the particular strategy element, it can be a product attribute, it can be resources, it can be competencies of the organization, it can be the competitive capabilities, and also it can be business outcomes. Now all these ability, they spell the difference between profit and loss, and ultimately between whether the organization is competitive success or whether it is a failure in the industry. So a key success factors are all those things that that most affect industry members' ability to flourish in the marketplace, and which finally tells whether the organization is competitively successful or whether it is a failure. Now, these key success factors, by their nature or by their virtue or by the characteristic that they have, because of these basic things, they are so important to competitive success that all the firms in the industry, they must always pay close attention to them, or they shall be in risk of becoming, an industry failure. So, whenever a organization is able to correctly, diagnose or analyze the industry's key success factors, then it will be able to raise those particular companies' chance of creating a very good strategy for itself. So the next thing is, what is the goal of this key successful factor then? So what might be it aiming to? We already have all those scanning analysis. Then why once again these key successful factors? Now these key successful factors, you know, here the goal of company strategists, it should be such that they should be able to design such a kind of strategy which is aimed at stocking up well on all of the industry's key successful factors, and thereby trying to be distinctively better than their rivals. Maybe one way, or possibly if it happens in two different ways. So, therefore, it is said that using the industry key success factor as the cornerstone, especially for the company's strategy, and thereby trying to bring sustainable competitive advantage, especially by excelling at one particular key successful strategy, is always fruitful or is always advantageous for a company in coming up with competitive strategy approach. So this particular key successful factors, now uh, it helps in answering three important questions, uh, which can speak about industry's key successful factors. The first question being, on what basis do customers choose between the competing brands of sellers? So, when we try to understand this key successful factor, it will be able to answer this particular question. And also, it tells about in a product or in a service, what are the attributes that becomes crucial for a customer? The next question is, what are the resources and also what are the different kinds of competitive capabilities does a seller needs to have to be, successful in the market? Then it speaks about what is it actually that takes for seller to achieve a sustainable competitive advantage. So here if we see in brief, first it focuses on customer. So what is that which or what are those attributes in the product which becomes important for a customer? Then they speak about the competitive capabilities. which drives for a competitive success in the industry. And thirdly, they are speaking about the sustainable competitive advantage, which is the ultimate aim of any organization in question. And no matter what it is, unless like the same way like your environment, even key success factors, they vary from industry to industry. And not only that, if we take one industry, they also change from time to time within the industry also. So a sound strategy of any organization, normally it should be such that it is able to incorporate industry key success factor, which are very much necessary for industry success. Now we let us take the example of any industry, and we shall see how these key successful factors are important. So we can take the key successful factor in the juice industry. So in a juice industry, the key successful factors might include, full consumption of the juice producing, which should be lower, down to the cost. There should be strong network of traders, and it should be unique in terms of flavor and taste, and as such. Uh, Maybe even packaging can be a successful factor, if the juice has to be directed especially to the younger groups. So determining the industry's accomplishment factors and given prevailing and anticipated industry and competitive condition, it is a top priority reasoned concern. So at the very least, managers they need to comprehend the industry conditions very well enough to know what is more important, for competitive achievement, and what is less significant. So they need to know what kinds of resources are competitively valued, or misdiagnosing the industry factors and serious to long term economic success, and also which greatly raises the risk of misdirecting all these strategies. So all in all, what we can tell is, all those company which has very good observant understanding of the industry's key success factors, they can gain maintainable competitive advantage by training its policy on industry's key successful factors, and dedicating its energies to being specifically better than rivals on one or more of all these key success factors. So that is to tell, companies that stand, that are able to stand out on these particular key success factors, they enjoy a stronger market focus for their efforts. So being specifically better than rivals on one or more key success factors presents a golden opportunity for gaining, modest benefit. So using the industry key success factors as keystone for the company's plan, and thereby trying to gain sustainable competitive benefit by excelling at one or particular key success factors, is always helpful for competitive strategy approach. So there can be many different types of key success factors for any industry. It can be in terms of technology, manufacturing, distribution, marketing, skills. It can be in terms of organizational capability, or other than these also there are some of those. So instead of telling, it is better to explain it with example. So what could probably be this technology based key successful factors? It can be the scientific research that the organization does. So when we tell the scientific research, expertise may not be in all the industry, but definitely to some of the industries it is important. The field might be such as pharmaceuticals, or in terms of the medicines, or the space exploration, or other high tech industry also. Now, the latest news, and if we take technology and space exploration, you have the latest news of yesterday, uh, wherein one of the company they have arranged the space tourism kind of thing. So that can act as a key successful factors, or we can also take it into consideration as the first entrance to the market also. So whatever happens, the next is we'll have to wait and watch. But as of now, they are the first. They are having the first movers advantage. So that can be a key success factors. Then there is technical capabilities, which make a very good innovative improvement in terms of maybe the production process or even the service process. The organization might be having success in terms of the innovative capability that they can bring to the product because of using the technology. And also, nowadays it goes without telling that with internet of things, the organization's capacity to use internet, uh, especially to analyze the information, or to take orders, or to deliver products or their services, and to maintain a good relationship with the customer. So even that can act as a key success factor for any industry in question. And now when we speak about this manufacturing related key successful factor, um, especially the first one that we can take is mm, the low cost effectiveness that the organization can have. So in manufacture, what can be possibly low cost? It can be by achieving economies of scale, or because of the experience curve effect that the organization has. The next thing can be in terms of quality of manufacturer. That is to tell, there possibly would be fewer defects, or there might be very much less need for the repairs of the product that the organization produces. uh, or it can be high utilization of fixed assets, especially which are important in capital intensive or high fixed cost industry, or low cost plant location, and access to adequate supply of skilled labors, or it could be high labor productivity, or low cost product design and engineering, or flexibility to manufactures, or maybe a range of models and sizes, and also take care of customer orders. All this, when they give importance, especially in terms of manufacturing, they might with time become one of the successful factors or key success factors for those particular industries or companies that is in question. Then we have distribution related key successful factor. Here a strong network of wholesaler, or the distributor, or dealers, or even the electronic distribution capability through the internet, all this comes into consideration. or by gaining, you know, a very good space on retail shelves and having company owned retail outlets or low distribution cost or fast delivery. Then there is market related key successful factors. So when we speak about market, so in which terms can we have more advantage? Maybe in providing fast assistance for the customer. Not only when we tell fast, we should also see that this fast, it needs to be accurate also. Or so maybe fast accurate technical assistance, or when we give the customer service just for the sake of giving, it should not be given. The customer service should be courteous enough in giving, and also there should be accurate filling of buyer orders, or to tell there should be lesser and lesser back orders, or there should be less mistakes. um, Key successful factor can be in terms of the breadth of the product line and also the product selection. It can be in terms of merchandising skills. It can be in terms of attractive styling or packing of the goods. It can be in terms of customer guarantees and warranties, uh, especially important in mail order retailing or big ticket purchases or new product intros, or maybe in terms of even clever advertising of the product. Then what could be possibly the skill related uh, key successful factors? So when we tell skills, definitely here we are speaking about the human resources of the organization, because it is most of the skills, it is brought by the human resource in the organization. So it can be the superior workforce talent. When we tell about this workforce talent, then in the manufacturing industry, it becomes more important in professional service, like maybe accounting, or in terms of investment banking, or the service that is taken in terms of legal advising. It can also be here in terms of quality control of all the know-how that the organization is having. It can be in terms of design expertise, especially you know maybe in fashion industries. So they can also be expertise in particular kind of technology, or they may try to have a good ability to develop the innovative products and also make product improvements. uh, it can be in terms of the ability to get new products once after it comes out of the research and development phase, and once it reaches into the market very quickly. So all this can be skill related key success factors. When we speak about organizational capability, it can be in terms of superior information system. So when we speak about this, so when we speak about this information system, it becomes especially important in uh, maybe in transportation, maybe that of airline travel or car rental, or also in terms of credit card, and also in lodging industries. And it can be the ability to respond quickly to shift market conditions, or it can be superior ability to employ the internet and other aspects of electronic commerce to conduct the business, or more experience and also managerial know-how. So these can be some of the key success factors in an industry. So other than this, what possibly can be other types of key successful factors? Other than this, it could be favorable image of the organization, or the reputation that the organization which has with its customer. It can be the overall low cost, okay, of the organization. Here when we tell overall low cost, it does not mean only the low cost that the organization can get in terms of manufacturing, but as the entire company it will have to have a low cost, or it might be in a very convenient location, which becomes very much important when we speak about retailing business. Or there can be no pleasant, courteous employees in all customer contact position, uh, and there can be access to financial capital. Now when we tell about this financial capital, it becomes very much important in newly and emerging industries with high degree of business risk, and in capital intensive industry. It can also be in terms of patent protection. So these are some of the common types of key success factors our organization can have. So what you can know is that it can be in terms of technology, manufacturing, distribution, marketing skills, organizational capacity, or something other than these which can be mentioned. So for each of them, try to give examples. The next is about the industry attractiveness. So these strategy makers, in any organization, or as we tell in a particular company, they must be able to give answer, especially to the question, as to is the industry attractive? Okay, if the industry is attractive, what its prospects, for above average productivity are. So, in order to answer to this question, strategists they review, the complete industry situation, and thereby try to develop logical questions about the relative attractiveness of the industry, or if it is unfavorable, the relative unattractiveness of the industry. So when analyzing whether an industry has both short term and long term attractiveness, there are many important factors that undoubtedly has to be analyzed, such as in the front and foremost, it begins with the industry's growth potential. That is to tell whether the competition, it currently permits adequate profitability, and whether the competitive forces they will become strong, or whether it becomes weaker. So once after the growth we understand, we'll have to know whether industries, we'll have to know about the profitability of the industry. That is whether industry profitably will be favorable or unfavorable. Now, this especially the profitability, we try to understand its impact by all those prevailing driving forces. Then we have, the company's competitive position that is in the question, especially in the industry in which it is set up. Whether its position is likely to grow stronger in the coming days or whether it is going to become weaker. Then we speak about the company's potential to capitalize on the vulnerabilities. So vulnerabilities of whom is the question? So vulnerability of the weaker rivals. Whether the company can gain something because of that is also one of the question that has to be answered when trying to find the industrial attractiveness. Um, Once after knowing the competitors, then they'll try to understand whether the company is being protected from, or to tell whether it is able to defend against all those factors which makes those particular industry unattractive. Now, analyzing this also becomes very much important. And also it speaks about the degree of risk and also uncertainty in the industry that shall be there in the future, or the severity of the problems or issues which are confronting the industry as a whole, the regulatory or the environmental issues which are stagnating buyer demand or the industry overcapacity, the increasing number of competitors, and all such related problems. And also the question, whether the continued practicing in or doing business in this particular industry will add to the firm's ability to be successful in other industry in which it might have interest. You can observe many of the large corporate which are into one field later on after being successful in that particular field, if the any other industry is attractive and if they are able to grab on all such opportunities, you have seen example where they have moved into such industry. The best example we can take of either the Reliance group of industry or the Aditya Birla group of industry. You have ITC. All these industries, they are such industries which started with one particular industry, but after gaining success in one particular field, they started moving into different alternatives that were available to them. So, as a general, if an industry's overall profit prospects, if it is above average, then the industry can be, reflected to be something attractive. But then it would be a mistake to think of industry to be, attractive or unattractive to all industry members and to all possible companies. Maybe for your company it can be unattractive, but the same factor can be attractive to some other company, and it is vice versa. Something which is attractive to you can be unattractive to somebody else. So this attractiveness what we speak of, it is always relative and it can never be absolute. What is good for me can be bad for somebody else. What is bad for me can be a good opportunity for somebody else. So, when we tell about this industry attractiveness. This attractiveness, as we said, it is always relative, and it comes always down to this point, that point of conclusion, that in one way or the other, it shall always be in the eye of the beholder. So industry appeal always has to be evaluated from the position of specific company that we are speaking. So always an valuation that the industry is primarily attractive suggests that current industry contributors, they try to employ strategies that reinforce their long term competitive position in the business, maybe by increasing sales effort and investing in supplementary facility and competences as per the need that arises in the industry. So, if the industry and the competitive condition, if both of them are comparatively unattractive, then more effective industry members, they may choose to invest carefully in such an industry and try to look for ways to protect their long term affordability and profitability, and thereby possibly acquire smaller companies if the companies can be bought at right price. So over the longer term, strong companies, they may consider divergence into more attractive businesses, and weak companies in unpleasant industry, they may consider amalgamate to with rivaling industry, or to strengthen the market share and profitability, or to look for divergence opportunities. So on occasion, an industry which is unappealing overall is still very attractive to a constructively situated company with the skills and with the necessary resources to take business away from weaker rivals. So what you can see over the slide is what we call as a 9 box matrix of industry attractiveness. On the x-axis, we have competitive strength of each business unit, and on the y-axis, we have industry attractiveness. Now, these two variables, they have been in terms of low competitive strength, medium competitive strength, and high competitive strength, and we have low industry attractiveness near to the O of the y-axis, and medium industry attractiveness and high industry attractiveness. So this is a extra information that has been given, especially to those who have an interest to know more about industry attractiveness. So those who ever has a interest to know more about it, please go and find what this 9 box matrix of industry attractiveness is all about. So this is something like your BCG matrix. If you see, it tells how the company should act when it is in place of each of this variable. So altogether what we can tell about this part is that a comprehensive industry analysis always requires companies to take an objective view of the all the forces that are underlying, maybe the forces, maybe the attractiveness and success issues that mainly determine the arrangement of the industry. So this industry study, it provides information about the industry circumstances that help strategy makers to concentrate on strategic thinking and also forecasting the future of the industry. So a good insight about the overall industry circumstances, it normally facilitates the fortune of the industry. So an insight about the overall industry circumstances, it also helps in the formulation of effective strategy and also what we can call as pragmatic strategies, and also to position the company for success and making the most efficient use of the company's limited resources. So once these forces which are de-stressing the competition in an industry, and the company knows their fundamental causes, then the firm shall be in a position to classify its strength and weaknesses, not only its strength and weaknesses comparatively to the industry. So an effective competitive policy, it takes offensive act in order to generate a defendable place against all the competitive force. So some of the likely strategy includes arranging the firm to use its unique competences as maybe protection, or influencing the balance outside force in the firm's favor, or expecting the shifts in fundamental industry factors and adapting before competitors do in order to gain a competitive advantage. So that is why industry attractiveness becomes more important.